rust spots. But this one is not as bad as I've seen some of them. Like here's a dent, you could actually see this one. I'll need to actually apply a little more to go here. But I'll probably sand this before applying anymore. I was working until really late yesterday. It's a lot of work trying to sand all this rust down. So and here's this quarter panel. It was all dented and about 3 coats of Bondo here on this side. So obviously it needs some more. So I'm actually gonna apply more. Just go ahead and let it stick to itself over here. Yep. So I'll go ahead and keep working, guys, and show you some more progress later. Hey guys, here's another update. I have done more bondoing, and I made a footage on my GoPro so you could actually get a first person point of view from a GoPro, kind of like you could see me doing it and stuff. I'm not an expert, but you know, I don't think many of us are. We are just do-it-yourselfers. We're basically, some of us are backyard mechanics, and we just choose to do it ourselves. We don't have to be a pro at it, but by doing it ourselves we become better and we save money, and by saving money you could afford other things. So that's why I have this channel, to share with others that wanna learn or want to get some ideas, and feel welcome to share your ideas with me. Basically over here underneath where the windshield is, a lot of the stuff is rusted, and many vans. This one wasn't that bad. I know I keep saying this, but I've seen some worse that's really rusted. So, and same thing goes for the hoods. They rust underneath over here. I don't know why, but they do, and then basically they just rust through, and then that's it. You know, for some of them that you could see that has rust on this side, a lot of the times it has to do with the battery. Lead acid batteries with the cable not being run, you know, through, which I don't even do it on mine. So basically, yeah, that will cause more rusting, as there's like I think it's like acid vapors or something that cause it basically. But I apply this Bondo. It is not perfect, but I want to make sure I don't apply it too low or too high, because once you have to start applying it too low, it's going to basically get these lines, and they're going to be a lot lower than what the damage actually is. So you need them to be a little bit higher. As much as I try, as hard as I try, guys, I always get these lines, and some of it is due to the fact that some of my bondoing equipment, it's already been used many times, and it's just not that perfect. Some of the residual stuff is being stuck on there, and it's not really good to take any kind of metal scrapers to them to try to scrape anything off, because that will further damage them. So I try to leave Bondo on them. That way it's going to be a lot easier to remove, but you know, sometimes there's still going to be some residual stuff left over, like little stuff. Big stuff, it's really easy to peel off. But you could tell, guys, this is all coming together. It's already taking shape. It's probably going to need some more Bondo later on, but I think before I apply any more Bondo to this, I'm going to try to sand most of the stuff down, because possibly there's already enough, but I could still see there's like a slight bent here, so I will actually apply some more here in this area and some more to this area, just so when I start sanding it's going to be quite even, because I had to straighten this out yesterday with a hammer, because it was actually bent in because of this dent when it went in here, dented in. Same thing for here, huge dent here and here, and it caused the kind of like a bulge over here. So I'm trying to even it out as I even it out, I just want to be kind of close enough. So I'm applying Bondo in the places where I'm thinking it's going to need it to be evened out. So I just have a couple more places that's left that I gotta Bondo, like this area here, a couple spots. And I'm already kind of beginning to run low on Bondo. But I do have some more, but I have already went through a gallon. Yeah, here's kind of what I was talking about. I sort of basically, as I use Bondo, I leave whatever's left, and look how easily it comes off as one piece, kind of smoothly. You know, this is just one technique I have learned over time. Just do that instead of trying to clean them. Just have many. You know, buy yourself like a case of them and just keep using them as you go along. I do recommend, guys, use gloves. That stuff is dry, so I could kind of touch it, but basically my Bondo is kind of like towards the bottom, so I'm going to be using some of it right now to try to Bondo it some more. It's not going to be in the video. Next video it's going to be is with the GoPro, me Bondoing, so you can see that person, you know, first person type of view. So anyways, guys, well guys, here's a little update. Basically I already have primed everything, sanded the Bondo down. As you can tell, it came out pretty good. This portion was really dented in, and there's a lot of dents here. Some of the stuff like this here, I'll be using a special tool, so I want to kind of prime everything so that I could see any other imperfections, so that I could actually Bondo it some more. But I'll be using a special tiny shaping type of tool to try to work out any other imperfections. So let's see here. Here's where a lot of the rust was. I Bondoed everything down there, some areas down there. So it looks pretty good. I mean, these vans, they have lots of mileage. They're obviously not new. This is a 2015. So I'm trying to get it as good as I can, but I'm not going to be trying to get it perfect. But I am trying to do a good job on it, so it's going to look like a decent type of van when I'm done with it. But the goal is to not really make it showroom quality, if you know what I mean. It's just not worth it. That's why I'm not using very expensive paints. This primer here, it's Rust-Oleum. I think it's like $25, $26 a can. Same thing for the paint. I'll be using a Rust-Oleum type of paint, and that stuff is not very expensive. I think also about $25, $26 a can for a gallon. We're talking gallon here, guys. Some of the automotive paints, it's a little bit over $100 a gallon just for the cheap stuff. But I'm not going to be putting a lot of money into it. It's just not worth it. And besides, these vans, they like to rust. So using a Rust-Oleum, not only that it's going to save you money, it's actually should be protecting from rust a little bit. It's probably not going to do an excellent job, but your van is still going to rust here and there, so you're going to have to repaint it maybe in a couple years, at least the rust spots. And if you use something very expensive, well, you're going to have to do the color matching with the expensive stuff, and it might not still look good in the end, you know. So might as well just use something cheap to where you could just have a little bit left over, or just go ahead and buy yourself a can and just keep painting it and just keep having it last. I mean, the most important thing about these vans is just so they're going to look good, you know, when you go for pickups. It's obviously not going to look ugly. I mean, it's a work truck, but it's going to look decent, and you're not going to be embarrassed driving. It's going to look kind of like a brand new truck. If nobody's going to be nitpicking it, which they won't. Most of the times you're going to get in there after 5 and, you know, kind of late. Even if you're going to come there early, nobody's going to get in there and start nitpicking your van. Oh, look at this. There's this there. You know, if you guys doing expediting, I'm sure you have noticed there's brand new vans driving around with dents and rust, and your van is going to look better than some of the new ones. You know, that's the idea anyways. But anyways, guys, that's a little update. See you in my next update. Well, hello guys. Today's another update, kind of like on the progress, what's going on. And as you can see, I have done already a lot of work to it. You could tell the project is coming along nicely. Some of these areas you might remember, they were very bent, and now they look pretty decent. There's still some work to be done to really make it look nice. And as you can see, there's like this edge that kind of goes along here. I'll have to kind of like measure it, you know, like put some tape there, and I'm gonna use a special tool to try to put that edge right back in there, because guys, all of this was smashed in, all of this here, and maybe wasn't that visible before, but now it's pretty good. I'm also going to use a special grinding tool to really put a nice type of edge here, and for that I'm going to actually use the GoPro footage so you could actually see me doing it. It's basically going to be sculpting work, and kind of like over here too, I have bonded this area, but you could kind of tell from just looking at it, we'll need to shave off some more of this bondo to give it more nicer type of edge. One nice thing about primer is you use it to find out all the defects before you actually paint it, and like this looks pretty good. Just needs a little better edge here, using one of those little tools. It's kind of like a sculpting tool, that's what I would call it, but there's, in the kit, you know, you got like cutoff wheels and stuff like that. I got both electric and I got a air one. I might use the electric one. I could use air as well. As you can see, guys, there's some minor type of like little holes. This is if you're doing a bondo job, you will, well, body filler, I always call it bondo because that's the brand I use mainly. So basically, some of these little holes, sometimes you're lucky enough to where they get covered up by primer, and some of them I'm pretty sure have been. So just a little bit visibility of some of these. For this kind of stuff, you need like a finishing type of bondo. Sometimes it comes like in a little tube. I don't have one of those, so it's okay to use regular bondo. Just basically just mix yourself just a little bit of it, and just make sure kind of like plan ahead and just see where you need it most, and just go ahead and fill those holes in. And then of course sanding it, it's not going to be that difficult. So then you could just come around, sand everything, and then once you prime it again, it's going to look pretty good. Same thing kind of goes here. There was this edge was all kind of like bent it in here, so I had to put a new shape. And then of course I got some bondo here. I went ahead and left it for that special tool. I could just come in here and just make a nicer type of a groove there. Let's see what else I want to show here. Yeah, basically it's coming along. There's you know, still some work to be done, but it's definitely going to look a lot better than a lot of these other sprinters out there. It's going to look pretty much brand new once I actually paint it and stuff, which I'm not even sure when I'm gonna paint it. I definitely plan getting it painted by this week, but there's just so much work to be done, and I'm not sure if the time is going to be delayed at all. But today I gotta sand this hood completely down, and you know, I went ahead and you know, I sanded it and I primed the whole hood. But you know, like when you're driving these vans, I don't care what kind of van you have, you're gonna have little type of holes and stuff, like little chips in paint is what I'm trying to say. And those chips are going to cause like unevenness, you know. So you know, it's a good idea to go ahead and sand it, prime it, see if the primer will get rid of most of those things, and sand it again and just reprime it. It's just a lot of work. But you know, I mean, you could also use some kind of like a finishing type of body filler to try to fill those holes in, whatever works for you. So I'm just using like basic methods, and as you could tell for this door over here, guys, I mean it's not too bad, but I'm going to actually use fiberglass Bondo for this one, and there's several ways of doing this, but I may end up using fiberglass material as well. I already have fiberglass resin, I have all that stuff prepared, so most likely I'll be doing that probably sometime today if I could get to it. Maybe I'll just leave that alone for the last part before I actually paint it. And then I was kind of looking in previous, whoever owned it, maybe them or somebody else, they try to do some stuff. So obviously they did some Bondo, they basically spray paint over it, probably can of white paint or something. Obviously it's a spray can. I mean, you could tell the difference with original and not. And there's several portions of it. There's like some over here, so I'm gonna have to go over that, go ahead and sand all those portions down, and you know, hopefully get rid of any imperfections.